did some light baseball activities today. Are y'all pleased with his progress?
Yeah,
right now?
he's really just coming along nicely. He will probably get some cage work this weekend, so don't have a target date, but we're looking at probably about 7 days, somewhere in there.
You talked the other day, I guess, about the depth on this team, and the rotation. Feel like there's good depth, hitters, bullpen options. Was that something you guys felt you lacked at all last year and wanted to address, or did you feel like you had
Well, we did have our share of injuries, but we felt like we had depth last year, especially with our young pitchers. But it is something that I know CY he wanted to even increase that, and you look at all the arms that we brought in here and the position players, and so we feel like we have some really good coverage. Knock on wood, nothing happens, and because during the course of the season, you're going to have to deal with some injuries, guys need a little time, whatever it is, and so depth becomes so important. It helps soften a blow up when that happens, and so we think we have more this year.
Are Nate and Dane both multiple innings today in the game video?
Yeah. And tomorrow, we got a B game, so we got a lot of innings there, and just to get these guys out on the mound between base and hitters, whether it's live or B games, we're going to do all we can to keep them sharp. And so we got, I think, 6 innings tomorrow in the B game, and then we have the A game. Yeah. They're all doing good, though. Buchanan, he should be on the mound next week, so that's good news for him. Really, other than that, we're doing well.
On DeGrom, you said he's throwing this weekend. Do you have a target for when he'll get into a Cactus League A game?
Yeah, usually it's a couple lives, and then we'll put him in a game. Yeah, so he's got a light pin tomorrow. Throw a live this weekend. Take a couple days live, and then he'll be in the game.
You obviously talk about you never know what you're going to need over the course of the season or who you might need to step up. Last year you guys had Davis Wenzel up for a little bit. Foscue comes up. You just guys you need to fill holes in spring training. How important is that to get a look at guys like Osuna, Hover? You just guys that maybe in August you end up needing for a few games. Is that good to see them now and get around?
No, it is. It's important, for us to hopefully have a good idea or evaluate, where they're at. But I think as much as for us, for them, and so I try to get guys out there, especially their first spring that they haven't been in a major league spring training before and face major league pitchings. That's critical for them. It just gives them a sense of confidence, that they can play up here and have that sense of belonging, all those things. So when they come up, that it makes it a much easier transition. They're not overwhelmed or in awe of everything. And a guy like Osuna, I'm throwing him out there as much as I can because he's going to play in the major leagues. This is a really nice player, and not in all of them really. I just try to not only get them out there, but I try to move them around so they get used to that because you don't know where they're going to be needed, whether it's in the outfield or infield. So that's why you see these guys play different positions, and some of them are playing places they haven't been. And I guess I can include Tavares in that now too, because I like to get him over in left field and get him used to that.
With a guy like Osuna, I guess how much about him did you know about him coming into the game?
I didn't know a lot about him except this winter. CY was really excited about him, and the job that he did in the fall league, and not just his talent, but just what he brings. This guy enjoys baseball, man. He has a great time playing. He's got a passion for the game, and and that's contagious. So it's good to have that kind of energy around.
With a guy like Osuna, are you looking for anything in particular in these games? What are you watching for?
No, really more than anything, just get him out there as much as I can, so he gets, I guess that sense of comfort, that he belongs there, and he has shown that from day one. He hasn't looked like he's overwhelmed by anything, and I just love the way he's handled himself, the swings he's getting off, and you can tell, with how aggressive he is. He's not backing off infield. In the outfield or at the plate. So that's what you're looking for these young kids to come up and let it go, let it fly, and don't be afraid to make a mistake, and he's not.
Speaking of prospects in camp, what have you liked from Sebastian Walcott lately? He had a big day yesterday. Nice heads up, taking second on that.
Yeah, again, young kid that really carries himself so well, and he's going out there and showing patience at the plate. Defensively, he looks good. Now, I will say, with him, we are going to back him off for a couple of days. He's just nothing serious, just a little soreness in the arm. He's been, taking a lot of ground balls throwing, and but probably he'll be off today, tomorrow, then he'll be back in there.
Well, Chris Martin's pitching the game today. With a veteran guy like him, what are you even looking to see from him?
More than anything, just be free and easy out there. The bag's been a little tight, so that's what we'll be watching. Make sure all that's good. Before that, he was throwing the ball well, and so I expect him to go out and be what he normally is, and that's pounding the strike zone, and that's what he's good at, and attacks the hitters, and he'll be out there for one inning.
With veteran guys like him, how much this spring are you really looking into them, or is it just, I know you haven't been around him, maybe that's different, but he knows what he's doing, right? When they're
he's been playing a long time. Yeah. No, he's a pro, and he knows how to go about his business. He knows how to get ready, and he knows how to attack hitters, as I said. So he's a guy that's going to be a huge part of our bullpen, obviously. So I'm looking forward to spending this spring just getting to know him, watch him, and watch him do his thing.
We talked about Dane briefly after the game yesterday, but what was your guys' conversation with him at the end of last year? When you got optioned for the first time since he came to Texas, he seemed like he was focused this offseason on really just kind of getting back right.
Yeah. I'll say this about Dane. He's a pretty good self-evaluator. He was a good listener. I think he was honest with himself about where he was with his stuff, and knew that he had to do some things to get back to where he needs to be, including his velocity was down, his command wasn't quite as sharp. The one thing Dane does well is throw strikes, and he was getting behind a lot. And once that hitter sees a lot of pitches, he has more of a reference of what you have, and so he's been attacking the hitters well, and he's done everything we've asked, including maybe getting in a little better shape too. And so he's worked hard. He's lost weight. He just looks good. The finish on his pitches, it just looks different now to me.
He's not a young guy anymore. He's been here a few years as opposed to when he first got here. What do you hope to see from him as he kind of enters this next stage of his career?
Exactly what he's doing right now. A guy that can give us innings, also depth. We've seen what he can do, going from the bullpen to start and back to the bullpen. It's pretty valuable, and so that's what we're hoping to see. The Dane of 23, that was probably our most valuable pitcher. He's got 4 pitches. I know last year he was kind of getting focused on that split. That might have taken away from the command of the other pitches, maybe his stuff. I don't know. He can answer that better than me, but just give us quality innings, outs, help help us get outs in that bullpen, and he's resilient. Yeah, and sometimes you have to take the ball from him because he's always going to say, "I'm good to go."
So Leody's in left today. He'll have played all three outfield positions. Evan Carter has only played center field. What, if anything, should we make of that through 7 games?
Yeah. I think more than anything, with the time that Evan has missed Carter, just let him just stay in one position. Just don't move him around. There's a little different movements. Not a lot different, but there is some. And so just to kind of get him used to center field right now. He hasn't been out there a lot. Also, we don't know what's going to happen as we break camp. One guy may be the swing guy. So I think just looking at Tavares with his athleticism, not that Evan doesn't have it, the arm, everything, he looked good in right field. Left field's probably going to be a little bit more of a challenge, I think. We'll see. But he just has those qualities, I think, that might be a little bit easier to move around. We did it with Evan when he was up here. So it's not like he can't do it, but I think it may play just a little bit better with Tavares and Evan.
Speaking of Leody, he looks like he's kind of put on a bit of muscle this offseason. I mean, he crushed that ball the other day, like 420. Was that something you guys wanted from him, or he just?
I mean, you always want your players to, improve, get stronger, become better players. I mean, that's, and for him to stay in Texas and work on that, and including the strength training, but the swing. That was great to see. He crushed that ball. And so really, with the number of bats that he has in the major leagues now, you're always looking to see the player take the next step. And that's what we're hoping to see from him. That's, show a little bit more discipline, be a little more consistent from the right side. These are things we talked about with him. And so that's what we're hoping to see this spring. This will be his 4th game in a row, by the way, so normally don't do that this early, but, he's in such great shape. He says he feels great. He wants to be out there.
You guys have guys in camp, like Nick Ahmed is a 2-time Gold Glover. Tucker Barnhart's won a bunch of gloves. I know they're here on minor league deals. What's the value of having not just veteran guys, but, guys who are really good at one thing just around camp for the month?
Now, it's good for these younger players to see them, how good they are defensively and just executing the fundamentals like a major league player should. And so I think they just set a great example. And both of them have a lot of time in the major leagues, over 10 years, I think. And so there's a reason why they have done that. And so it's not just about swinging the bat. You can have a good game without getting a base hit. And these guys have had probably a lot of those games, and but I mean, Nick he's such a gifted shortstop. He's fun to watch. He's one of those guys, of course. Barnhart, watching him handle pitchers, how professional he is. Other guys can learn from him, including Jonah and Higgy. Those guys, they learn from each other. They talk baseball. They talk about the pitchers, and so it's good to see, when you have quality major leaguers like they are around the camp, not just for the younger players, but the older players, including the pitching staffs.
So the lineup you guys have today looks pretty regular season-y lineup with the names in there. How do you look at that?
Pretty much. Although Jock's playing today, probably won't start against lefties for the most part. Carter was in the lineup and made a change there, and Pilar replaces him. He's got some crud, and so he's a little achy, and so we're just going to push him back to tomorrow when we go to Maryville. And but yeah, most of the guys are in there today.
Is it a straight substitution, Pilar for Carter in the game?
Straight up.
Straight up.
Straight up.
with Carter, he got a few bats for his lefties yesterday. Do you guys is it just about reps at this point, or are there specific things you want to see with him?
Reps. That's what he needs, reps. I mean, he missed not just facing lefties but righties last year. He missed 400 or 500 at bats last year. So, he's doing some work on the field and in the cages. Off lefties and righties, and it's never an easy task. When you miss that much time and you're that young and haven't seen a lot of lefties. But we'll keep trying to find reps for him there, and it's just going to get better and better with him.
How's Jock look taking those ground balls at first base?
You know what? He looks pretty good. Yeah, he's comfortable. He's got a lot of confidence. He just got a great way. He's just very comfortable, in his skin and how he plays the game. Over in playing Cleveland, he first hitter hit a ground ball. He did a drop back like he's been playing there all his life. So he handles the throws there from the infielders very well. So he'll continue to get some time there, but for the most part, you'll see him DH here.
Do you have a day for when DeGrom is going to do his live bullpen? Yeah, I know he said this weekend.
I think, is it tomorrow?
I don't know.
I got to check on that. I keep forgetting what today is, to be honest.
Or see you getting close to getting out there.
Yeah, same with him. Yeah, very similar schedule. I'll get a target date when we think they'll be in the game. I'll have that for you tomorrow.
So you guys, have 3 or 4 however many rotation spots that feel pretty certain, and then there's that group of guys kind of competing for that 5th spot.
Yeah.
Do you like to see the competitors brought out in these guys? Whether it's the Lighters, the Rockers, Dunnings, Bradfords, that know they have to fight this next month?
Yeah, I think it brings out the best in players. I think you find out about players too, how they handle pressure. I've said, you have to have the talent, but you have to have that ability to perform under pressure. And when you're competing for a spot, I think that brings out the best in them. And we probably have, I would say, 3 spots that we have some tough calls there, and we'll see where we're at the end of spring. And you don't know what's going to happen, but we do have some very good options. And in fact, we talked to a couple players kind of to help give them clarity already. Really what the situation is.
Coach, whenever Cole Winn gets an opportunity this year, what does he need to do to maybe be able to stick?
As much as anything, just command the ball where he wants. He's got great stuff. I mean, he's 96, 97. He's got a good breaking ball, curveball, slider, and the changeup, and he's got all the equipment to be a major league pitcher, starter, or reliever, and just getting the ball where he wants consistently. We saw a nice little run of that last year where he came in and did a great job, and that's just a fine line between being a good major league pitcher and an average one. Is usually the command.
You've seen Jock through the years, obviously. How have you seen him mature at the plate, mature as an offensive player? Or I know you probably have not been laid eyes on him all that often recently.
Yeah, well, like all hitters, I think the more at bats you get, the smarter you get. And as far as ability to have a good idea how they're going to pitch you, the strike zone, all those things, and that's what good hitters do. They continue to get better. And he's always been a good hitter, a good threat, but he has more discipline at the plate now, and I think he's always had that power, but now he knows when to hunt for a pitch, and and just has a really good idea of what he's trying to do up there. He's really a student of the game, and I haven't sat down and talked to him a lot about it, but I know, talking to people, he knows baseball. He knows a lot about the players, pitchers around the league. So he keeps up with all that, and so he's very well prepared going into a ball game.
Champ runs the show, though, right?
What's
Josh's
that?
brother,
Yeah,
Champ.
Champ. Yeah. Yeah, Champ was wearing the horns yesterday. He won that game, and I can't tell you here what he said, but he's yelling at his brother about what we did to him yesterday. And I think he was going to text him, tell him, hey, if you want some more, you know where I'm at.
We didn't ask you yesterday about Mark Church, but thought his ninth inning looked pretty sharp. I mean,
It was real sharp, wasn't
he
he?
looked good last spring too.
Yeah.
Anything look different, more improved? This
No,
spring?
you know what? His stuff actually is picked up a notch, I think, and then now he's got that split, to work with that he's gotten really gotten good command of it. Now he's a guy that missed a lot of work last year, so as far as the number of innings, that's what we've been talking about as where he will be this year, whether it's here or AAA. But he's really just continued to get better. Had setback with the injury, but the fall league, that was really impressive watching him how well he threw the ball, and he's carried that into this camp.
Is it just getting on the mound for him more often, the next step for him?
That's all it is now for him. Yeah. I mean, I think it was good for him to get a little taste last year. I know he had to be excited, but he's got the stuff to be a high leverage reliever. I mean, it's got the velocity. I mean, it's jumping on you. Then he's got the breaking ball and the split. So I see him having that role somewhere. I mean, sometime, somewhere down the road here soon. Could be when we break camp. I mean, this is how good we think he can be.
I mean, just stuff-wise, there's not many relievers in camp, I feel like, that have the kind of electric stuff that he has, right?
Right. No, I agree. Yeah. Now his stuff is right there with anybody, and that might even tick up. Because you have to remember this guy is young as far as pitching. He has been pitching all that long.
Which I know it's not going to come up a ton, certainly not at home. But so yesterday, lots of wind, largely blowing in. Do defensive players tend to have a tougher time when the wind is blowing in or blowing out, or does it not really matter? I just didn't know which could be.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's really a toss-up because a lot of outfielders, they get caught. When the ball's hit, they read it at first, and then it kind of gets in that jet stream, and the ones they think are crushed, and they're going back on. You saw the one ball that fell in. And that's the one thing I said in the early meeting today is how well we played yesterday. We had 2 games, and really only one ball fell in. So the tough thing about it blowing in is everybody is trying to get camped under it. A lot of people were calling it, so that's when you got to really be loud. You had the high sky yesterday too, which made it that much more difficult. And so the ball that fell in front of Smitty, that ball was probably a fly ball to Doley. That's when he first hit it, and that's how much it came back. Now, I saw a lot of those balls, being in the Bay Area for 13 years. I saw a lot of that happen, and going back to Candlestick. So I was surprised there weren't more balls misplayed yesterday.
Talking about the high leverage spots, you lost Jose, you lost Kirby. What's that mix look like right now, and when do you need to define it, if ever? Who's gonna?
I don't know if we'll have it defined as much as we did last year. I don't. But, we have the guys down there who I think can, get the job done. Without question, I believe they will. And so, and from the left side and right side, you haven't seen Garcia yet, and he's close to getting on the mound. Of course, Hobie, he's got experience to help us from the left side, and we have some other candidates here that are throwing the ball well. But from the right side, I mean, we have the experience there, the arms, and we have a couple spots in the bullpen, they may be more multiple inning guys, but as far as high-end, high-leverage guys, those guys have been there before. Armstrong, the Webbies, those guys.